doing entertainment, pop culture, stories like that. This here is not my usual type of news. However, not too long ago, the Women's March supported Amber Heard, so I figured I'd have to point something out about them because people like me saw a trial in Virginia. It was 6 weeks. Amber was proved an abuser and a defamer by a jury. So when the Women's March supports someone like this, it doesn't give them the best look. It doesn't make their opinion so credible to also be supporting an abuser. That's my point here. That's what I find to be factual, as does thedailycaller.com, who says, Women's March featured speaker who kidnapped and tortured a man. That's not so good. You could say, that's worse than Amber Heard. Johnny got defamed. That's monetary loss. That's fame loss. That's terrible. But torture, I think, is probably worse. And yet, this person was featured in the Women's March. Let's see what we got. The Women's March on Washington last week featured as a speaker convicted felon Donna Hilton, who along with several others kidnapped a man and then tortured him to death. Not only just torture, then that's it, you're arrested, but apparently the person lost her life. Hilton's name is listed on the Women's March website along prominent liberals like Planned Parenthood President Cecile Richards, activist Gloria Steinem, filmmaker Michael Moore, and CNN commentator Van Jones. And warning, they give some kind of graphic details here. They say she helped kidnap a 62-year-old real estate agent and held him for ransom and eventually killed him. And then they say, with some others, she put a steel pole where a steel pole is never supposed to go and said he was homosexual anyway. Which sounds, yes, worse than Mera. Absolutely. All right, so they get into some really, really graphic stuff I don't even want to read, but let's just say the torture that she did with her friends was absolutely horrific, and there's not much worse. Yet, the Women's March features her. This was extreme medieval torture, and the Women's March features her, and they also stand up for you-know-who lost in Virginia. Not the best look. They asked for $400,000 for the ransom. They also say organizers of the march who banned pro-life women from participating did not return the Daily Caller's request for comment regarding Hilton's participation as a featured speaker. And a featured speaker, not like they just let her participate, march, hold a sign, walk with some other people. She was a participating speaker at the march. This person, I don't know how she got out of jail. I guess maybe she wasn't actually the one to do the physical torture, so maybe she got out of jail with a lighter sentence because she was going along and helping? Maybe. But even so, most people couldn't even stand to watch. Hilton, who now works as an activist for criminal justice reform, participated in a panel last April in support of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' failed presidential campaign. All right, I'm no big Bernie fan. He's just one of those guys, even if you vote for, they're not going to win, so kind of what's the point kind of thing. Hilton's participation in the Women's March was first pointed out by a conservative outlet, The American Spectator. And it's a good point out. Seems factual. Seems like this person should not be participating. And these are the type of people who do support Amber. Now, I've got to say, I don't like the word homophobic. It gets used way too much. For example, if I think a superhero or a Star Wars character should stay straight because they've been straight for 50 years, I shouldn't get called homophobic. That should be my opinion about the character. But this here is torture. This is actual homophobic activity. So you could say the Women's March is on good terms and supports someone who is homophobic, who also supports abusers. Not the best look. I think they lose credibility from me. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. If you don't subscribe here and you think about it and you still don't, I'll be sad. But I'll get over it. Done here for now. See you next time.